What does that sound? Check 1 2. 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 Are we good over here? All right. Check 1 2. T minus 30 seconds. Thanks. Yeah, put it over here, Paul. Yeah, thank you. Okay. Yo, what is that sound? It's flickering. Move it away. Oh my. Oh. Is this working? Welcome everybody to Geezy Truth News! Wow, everybody! We got a lot of things to talk about on tonight's show. Tuning to you live, Geezy Truth News Studios. It is February 23rd, 2018. All right, everybody. Well, let me tell you. We got a lot of things to talk about, okay? There's a lot of things. We're going to start from the small ones and work our way to the top. Because truth never sleeps. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody. Sound engineers, technical producers, managers, fans, everybody. Thank you very much. Oh, looks like we got a caller already. Hold on. Tuning to you live from the Geezy Truth Studios. How may I help you?
Hey, am I talking to Sean Jeezy?
This is Geezy. What's going on?
What's up, man? It's Arturo.
Arturo. Long time, my friend. How's it going?
Good. How's it going with you? How's the wife? How's the kids?
Everybody is doing fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for asking. Now,
that's great. Great to hear. So, what's on top for tonight?
we have a lot of topics on tonight's show, and actually, just 1 second here. Looks like my technical engineers are telling me there may be some technical difficulties on tonight's show, and just as a heads up, thank you, everybody. Thanks, Joe and Mike working on the dials over there. Thank you.
Hey, is John still over there?
John is still, he's still twiddling the dials, still working on the production board and everything, so things are working really well here.
Great. Well, I'm sure you can hear me, but make sure to send him my regards.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Now, well, like I said, we have a lot of things to talk about on tonight's show. There's a lot of things that have been going on. Lots of corporate attack on America right now as we speak. It's been happening all over the place. So I don't know if you haven't heard, but stay tuned. There's been a lot of things like that going on. But before we go into all that, I want people to know that we are moving media platforms here, hopefully sooner than later. And we're moving over to a different alternative media, getting away from the Googles and the YouTubes and all the dangerous corporations. These guys are going at it hard, but guess what? The good guys are winning. So, you know...
Are you talking about Twitch?
I'm sorry, what is that, Arturo?
Are you talking about Twitch?
Talking about everything. I'm actually not very informed on Twitch. I've heard of it a couple times. Can you brief us on that?
Isn't that like a live version of video streaming, like what your show is, but on a different platform?
Yeah, I think it's geared towards like video gaming, but I think they're doing some kind of there's some discrepancy there where there might be some kind of things that are not going so well, and maybe some kind of do you know what I'm talking about? I've heard like some Twitch illegal paid programming. What's that?
I'm sure you're in good hands. Your producers know what the hell they're doing.
Oh yeah, of course, but it's not even the producing that's important. The part that's important is the platform that you want to be on. Look, we're on YouTube. It's being a hypocrite to be on this YouTube and talk about the fight in the corporate and, you know, America, Constitution, how it all works. But the thing is that they all have all the airwaves. They have all the bandwidth, and so you're trying to take it over. But look, they're attacking very copiously.
I just want to make a comment on that, and with all due respect, that's old news, buddy boy. We've been a corporate society since the New York Stock Exchange started trading, or you can even date that back to the Industrial Revolution in the 1800s.
Well, the stock market was well before the Industrial Revolution, but regardless, there's been a huge thing going on right now. Is that they've been going on the full frontal attack force here. The corporations, there have been people banned all over the place. There's a lot of channels getting banned. There's Facebook pages being deleted and all the, so these guys are going hard. The corporate, what you're talking about is, yes, we've been in corporate America for quite some time. I understand that.
But my point is that's old news. If you're not getting censored by corporations, you're getting censored by the government. So, I mean, what's the new news here?
The new news here is the fact that they're going full frontal. They're going on an attack force here, unlike anybody has ever seen, ever, to this date.
Well, in my opinion, that's a good thing, because it's a wake-up call, then.
Oh, exactly. Actually, I have great news about that. This exactly means that we are winning. This is like their last, this is like their last breath of air before they die. I mean, the good guys are really winning. I mean, everybody's waking up left and right. We got Brian Fulford in Japan talking about all his books and reading about all the information and intel that he's getting out from there. We got David Locke Steele and all the other truthers that that they have their information. They're doing their best to bring about the truth, and that's all that matters.
Great. Well, on a side note, I wanted to talk about something a little bit more, in the news, in the main MSM, so they say.
Sure.
You mind if I address a point?
Yeah, of course.
What's your opinion on the Russian dossier and the supposed collusion in the...
Oh, this is you telling me old news and you bring this up?
Hey, it's still in the headline.
Anybody who knows anything is going to know that, look, we've known that this was fake for years. There's no dossier. What are you talking? You're talking about the dossier? There's no dossier. There is no dossier.
Then what the hell have they been talking about in the news?
What they're talking about is Russian collusion with Donny Boy, but there is no dossier. That's the whole thing. It was made up fluff. They had found evidence. This was months. It's like almost more than a half a year ago. Come on, man. Look, I'll get my Geezy Truth. I'll get my Geezy Truth technical engineers to send you all the know-how that you need. Matter of fact, I'd tell them to post on the information board right now, because that has been debunked a long time ago. I mean, it was some kind of MI6 guy from Britain, and he was like he was paid
paid or something?
Yeah, he got paid to create this fake dossier, and there is no dossier. I mean, please, if you know something that we don't, please.
Yeah, I mean, I recently heard something about it. I'll send you the link to the Dropbox.
All right, yeah, do that, or send it over to the Geezy Truthnews status quo information box.
Now, in other news, what's your opinion on the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School massacre?
Well, there's a lot of things to be talked about there. And just like any other false flag, there's a lot of discrepancies and there's a lot of things going on there. For starters, you hear them saying that the interviews of the girl saying that she was with the person that was allegedly shooting, and then there's no problem, and then they're hearing multiple shooters, and then there's no evidence, and now this other person is saying that something else. So everything is just bonkers, like always. Just like the Las Vegas thing. I talked about this on last week's show as well. Is that when you look up all these false flag things, you'll see all of them. Oh, and they all have drills at the same exact time for some reason. And I mean, the list goes on. And you could just look. If you've done any research yourself, you would know what I'm talking about.
Well, Mr. Geezy, would you consider yourself open to new ideas?
Yes, of course. Of course.
Okay, great. Well, I'd like you to riddle me this. I have a neighbor whose sister
Fake news.
lives in a couple towns over from me, okay?
And she knew a guy that got shot down.
No, the neighbor was actually at the festival during the shooting. And so I know somebody through my neighbor, because it was his sister, that was there. Now, if the shooting didn't happen, why would my neighbor's sister lie to him about there being a shooting?
Oh, it might have. It might have. There, of course, there is a show. There's a sounds of bullets going, or some kind of. Obviously, you got to have a show. It's like that. It's like, I mean, it's a carnival. You need to have a show. You need to entertain. You got to be David Copperfield. You have to convince the audience that it's real.
Now, even though, now, you're right, maybe it's on my fault, I didn't get into the specifics, and I will need to confirm, but if I confirm that she saw bodies being, you know, shot down, what would your...
Well, please do, and as a matter of fact, get her on this show. I would love her to get on my show, because to this day, we haven't met a single person. We haven't been able to track down a single person throughout the whole internet, the whole world, nobody has been able to find anybody who was shot or this happened or that. There's no accurate.
Is give the number of my neighbor, and I can send that to you, you know, to your personal information. If you know,
that sounds good. That sounds good. Yeah, send that over to my technical producers and
you can call him, and he can tell you.
That's right. My engineers will work on the scene to cover that up and bring them on the show. That's a great idea.
So you can have the conversation with him. Now, to follow up that question, you know, regardless of the shooting, how come you're always first to conclude with, you know, no matter how much evidence or lack thereof, that all mass shootings are false flags? It seems like you automatically assume that without assessing the evidence.
Oh, this is a great one. You ready for this? This is an easy one. You got to give me hard balls, man. All right. You ever heard of The Boy Cried Wolf? You ever read that story? I can say it briefly really quick.
No, I've heard it. I'm pretty sure most people have heard it, so let's skip that part.
So, the boy cried wolf, there that is. The boy says, wolf, wolf, there's no wolf. And then by the 5th or 6th or 70th or 71st, or you get the, you know, 100th, 200th time, if you're going to call wolf, who's going to be? Who's going to be there?
All right, well, it's been enough wolves, first of all. And second of all, who does that benefit?
It benefits the NWO, simply put.
And when are you going to believe that the mass shooting was real? How do you know this wasn't the one that was real and all the ones...
Because I've done enough research. Anybody who's done anything has done enough research to know that over and over again. I'm talking every single one. I mean, just about. Okay, I'm sure there's things happen. People slip on banana peels all the time. There's 2,000 people who die slipping in a bathtub every year. Things happen. But you look at every single one of these shootings, and specifically every single one of these false flags, where there's always some kind of discrepancy. Something's going on. There's always something. And it never, there's too many discrepancies, too many holes in the plot, just like the JFK assassination, just like 9/11, just like every single false flag. Now, it's not to say that it didn't happen. 9/11 did happen, but it was a false flag. If you know what false flag means, it meant that it was for a certain purpose. It wasn't for, let's do this and let's do that. It was, no, we're going to do this false flag so we could take over the world, essentially. I mean, that's what it is. You know, it comes down to money and all that. Gets more complicated.
You know, as one of your listeners, and of course I can't speak on behalf of all of them, but I have to say, you know, I'm not convinced. But, you know, that being said, I'm always open to getting my mind changed, so I'll keep listening to your show, and then maybe one day.
And as a matter of fact, hold on, I'll be right there, hold on. I'm not sure if I recommended this before, but I gotta recommend this book. Now this book, this is by Jim Fetzer, titled "Nobody Died at Sandy Hook." Now Jim Fetzer is a PhD Marine who has been all over the world, done a whole lot of things. He's not a guy who just came out of nowhere, and he's got documented proof right here that nobody died in Sandy Hook, as well as the Boston bombing. You can purchase that book also, I'm sure, through via his website.
Yeah, one who's done a lot of things and been around the world, and you know, has no pretty much the same reputation is Jim Fetzer. You know, Hillary Clinton would tell you the same thing about the Russian collusion and the Russian dossier.
Bingo! Exactly. But you're looking at two different sides, though. You're looking at evil and good, man. There's a pro and con, good, bad, up, down. You got the good guys and you got the bad guys. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? The good guys are winning!
Alright, well, it was good talking to you, Sir Geezy, and I'll make sure to send you over that information about, it's not the first-hand account, but definitely a first-degree relationship.
Oh, we'll get to that first account. We'll get to that first account. Arturo, thank you very much for blessing us with your presence. You have a great night. And tell the senors and senoritas over there in Cuba I said hi.
Yeah, or you could just do it yourself. How about that?
All right. Well, invite me then.
All right.
We'll be doing it live in Cuba.
All right, you stinky pinky. We'll talk later.
Take it easy, Arturo. Thanks for the call. Well then, now that we got that settled, it's good information to go by. You gotta know what's going on, and obviously you don't always know the side of the equation, which you don't always know the whole bargaining chip. But what you can do is read backwards. You could look back, see what's missing. And that's exactly what I showed with that book, with Jim Fetzer, author, and with all those books, he shows the documentation and the proof. I mean, there's too many discrepancies. I mean, what is the whole bippity bop about all that? That's the whole thing. And again, that's the main thing, is that too many false flags. This has been going on since the 1800s, if not longer. It's been going on. And you study every single one of these false flags, events, catastrophes, whatever you want to call them. There's a lot of documented proof that says either it didn't happen, it was a false flag, or there was some kind of pretext there that the American people don't know about. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Geezy Truth News. This is what it's all about. It's all about knowing the truth. And believe me, don't get it from me. Get it from you. Do your own research, be your own rangers, be your own people, do your thing, Think of the Navy SEALs and the Green Berets and all the people there, and how much they gotta think. So, the American people, we have to be patriots. We have to defend this country, and we're doing a hell of a good job. Okay, yeah, we let it slide. We let it slide, quite some time, but it's okay. There's people who care. What's going on? Anyway, I believe we'll be right back in these few commercial breaks. Thank you very much. What's going on over here? Alright. Thank you, everybody. Looks like we're back in action here. Oh, looks like we got a correspondent here. Let's see what we got here. Hey! Let's see what's going on. Is there sound? Correspondent Correspondent Mac seems to be over here. How's our technical difficulties doing? Is it working? Speak up, old chap. I don't hear you. There seems to be some kind of communication breakdown here between the correspondents. It appears that there is no sound. Is Joe and Mike working on it right now? What's going on? Hello? Correspondent Mac. Oh, here we go. It looks like we got a different caller here. You're live on there at Geezy Truth News Studios. How may we help you?
Hi. Hey, how's it going, Geezy Truth?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
What's your name, caller?
Say that again?
Where are you from? What's your name?
My name is Tyler. I'm from Poland.
Tyler from Poland. All right, thank you. How may we help you? What's your question?
All right, so what news right now do you think would be the most important that we need to know that we're not being told?
That's a great question. There's a lot of things. Well,
Concerns the U.S.
That is a great question. Here we go. That's what I was waiting for. Thank you, Tyler from Poland. Well, there's a lot of things, and if I had to pick one off the top of my head, I just want to say that I want people to know that the government works for you. A lot of people think that it's the opposite. You're working for the government, or you have to do all this. People get depressed, or there's a lot of people who have a lot of problems with all this stuff going down. A lot of people have like F the government type of thing. I try to stay clear from that. Well, you have to understand that it's not F the government, it's F the people in the government. The people have gotten in there corrupt. They work for us. We tell them you're fired. That's how it works. But unfortunately, over a few small centuries, they've really dug us down into deep sand levels under where the ostrich sits its neck, because most people have their blindfolds on, as our good friend Arturo from Cuba likes to say, that all these people have blindfolds on, and all they have to do is take them off, and it's not that hard. So that would be the main thing. But man, there's too much to talk about. So does that answer your question, or?
Yes, that answers part of that question. I have another question for you.
What do you think? Shoot.
Let me see. Let me just phrase it. I have to phrase it for a second. Right. So, if do you think there has to be like something like a French Revolution right now to wake up the U.S. so that a big change does happen? Well, yeah, go that far.
Well, of course, anything is possible, Tyler from Poland. But what you have to understand is that, remember what JFK said. Those that give peaceful revolution, those that don't give peaceful revolution will inevitably give violent revolution. I'm paraphrasing, but it's pretty much that. And so that's what it is. So to answer your question, hopefully not. Hopefully the good guys are winning. Hopefully we don't have to deal with all this bloodshed. It doesn't sound like we will have to, because I think
the good guys are winning. I mean, it just sounds like a whole bunch of weird things happen over there, man.
Oh, the good guys are definitely winning, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you how you can see that. When you start seeing, and look, you don't even have to look all over the place. Just look at this most recent election. I mean, how ridiculous is that? That
It's pretty ridiculous.
the status quo. I mean, I don't even want to go back into this, but just quickly review that Hillary Clinton was unfortunately a status quo politician. She was very well known, and she was in the establishment. She was in the establishment, and she was very status quo, and everybody expected her to win, including herself. And everything was assumed like a master of puppets type deal. And what happened was the complete opposite. She's actually under house arrest right now with an ankle bracelet. You could Google and take a look. She's under the indictments. She's under all these convictions. What's his face before Mueller, the scumbag before Mueller, he's going to Cuba or to indictments or Guantanamo. He's going somewhere because he lied under oath. All these schmucks lie under oath. These guys are all scumbags. And I guess to answer your question is that there's a lot of things that you could see like that. It's like, okay, well, if the bad guys were winning, I'd tell you exactly how it would have played out. You know what I mean? Hillary would have won. World War III would have started. She would have gave more power to corporations or some weird. She would have brought NAFTA to a heavier deal. She would have passed the TPP, and she would have done a whole lot of sneezy.
Right, but Donnie Boy ain't no much better. You know, Donnie Boy's just lining up pockets of like good people.
Well, at least Donnie Boy got rid of the TPP. At least Donnie Boy is building the wall, building the buildings and building things. At least he got rid of the tax cuts. You got a bigger tax return. At least, you know, look, when you're a player like that, you obviously have to give and take. But the fact of the matter is, we know the way things would have went if the bad guys were winning. But the fact of the matter is, it isn't. Now, I know what some people are saying. Well, Geezy, how do you know that he's just not opposition? How do you know he's just not opposition? Well, he very well could be. I'm not standing here with the giant Donnie Boy flag waving, let's go Donnie Boy. But I am saying, let's go Donnie Boy, because he was a hell of a lot better than the other schmuck running. But again, this is all old news. The news that we're talking about right now is the fact that there's a war going on between corporations and the United States of America. That's it. This is the big deal. They're coming on. They're attacking us. They're just banning. They're banning all kinds of people, which is why I need to get over. Look, ladies and gentlemen, I can't stand YouTube. I don't make any money off this. I could care less about all these idiots. The big deal is that they have all the bandwidth. I do all this practically pennies. So this is why all the technical engineers and the producers and all my people, we all do this pretty much. You know, this is what it is. Everybody's got to speak the truth. Everybody's got to be doing smart. But you have to, alternatives, like we were talking about. Gab, we're going over to Gab. There's the one called DTube, we're going over. We got more news too. But what do you think, Tyler from Poland?
Yeah, I think you're hitting a couple of the right points there. Can you speak on your background, on your journalism background for the audience and everything?
Yeah, of course. I think that's a good little thing to know. All right, well, one of the first big journalism events that I ever did was during the Occupy Wall Street, which ended up being more or less a false flag or an opposition type of thing. It didn't go anywhere, but I was, we were all hoping. Look, well, I voted for Obama first term. I digged the Occupy Wall Street. I liked Obama in this first term. Things were going good in 2008, or it sounded like they were doing good. Maybe we could step up to that level, but then it all just came crashing down. So to answer your question, I was at the Occupy Wall Street in Seattle, and I was doing journalism there, and that was probably one of my biggest first events. And then from there, I just started doing interviews and newscasting, journalism, research, R&D, and stuff like that.
Yes, last question. Yes, what does Geezy do on after the show? What does regular day look like on a Friday night?
What does Geezy do? What do I do? I don't do much. I try to study, learn, research, get the truth out, help people, and do the best I can for this country.
And what is your stance
I'm not biased towards it at all. I think it's a good thing. I don't have any problems with it. If people, I mentioned this on earlier shows where people get offended when they hear Jeff Sessions, Attorney General Jeff Sessions, saying that he wants to ban it and all this and all that. That's all just, look, Donnie Boy and his guys are doing things behind the scenes. There's the news in the front and then there's the news in the back. You get what I'm saying? So the legality of marijuana, I have no problem with. Look, it's it's proven to have medicinal values, and it's obvious. No, I do not.
You do not? Oh,
I never inhaled.
Ooh. Wow. You're missing out, man.
Back in state college, maybe once or twice, but nothing. I never gave interest to it.
What about like drinking? A couple shots? Are you a shot man or are you a beer man?
I like I like my American Sour Mash Kentucky bourbon whiskey because it's all about bringing the jobs back in America. It's all about hiring American, buying American, and representing America. That's why all my cars are American. Everything that I buy, to the best of my ability, and I mean 99.9%, I do buy American all across the board. Now, once in a while, obviously, you'll look around and you'll see a made in China thing. Look, it happens to the best of us. But the thing is that's why we have to bring tariffs back. That's why we have to get rid of the NAFTA thing. And that's why we have to bring jobs back. That's why we have to do our thing in America. We have to represent America.
What if we could do it like on a smaller scale? Let's say like bringing stuff in from other countries is beneficial for the American consumer, and it doesn't take away too many jobs. Let's say we do it on a different kind of scale. Because some things, you do need like iPods and stuff. We don't want like $9,000 to look like an iPhone or an iPad. It was made in the U.S.
Right, exactly. But that stuff is garbage anyway, so it doesn't even matter. It's like
I'm calling you on an iPhone right now. It's pretty good quality from the other side.
Sure it is, but there's so many viewpoints that you could look at here. First of all, do you condone slavery?
How much am I making a week? Like, how much am I making off the slaves per week?
Nothing. This is ridiculous. We're about to hang up on you, Tyler from Poland, because this is ridiculous. Obviously, slavery is completely wrong, and this is why, anybody who has an iPhone, you helped slavery. Now, I'm not trying to be, Snowflake Lane over here, trying to explain things that, look, we all get to the best of us, but you have to do your best. Know the truth, know the best, do your thing, and if we all work together on it, then it works out. It's called the Truth Movement. And the Truth and Reconciliation Project. All these and you have to look. The main thing about all that is the corporations. There's a difference. There's corporate law, and then there's federal law. It's different things. Corporations are separate entities from the United States of America. That's one of our biggest things. Ron Paul was talking about, and many before him and many after him, talk about first of all, the audit of the Fed, so we can prove to people who don't know that there is nothing there. There's nothing in Fort Knox, and there's nothing in the Federal Reserve. We got nothing. It's backed by nothing, and that's why that you have to bring tariffs back and all this other stuff. You have to abolish the Fed, like Ron Paul says, and all these things.
The Fed should be abolished in the U.S.
Yeah. But if you but to answer to your question prior to all that is, if you bring the jobs back here in America, which we are, by the way, thanks to Donnie Boy. If it wasn't for Rodham Clinton, we'd be on a separate path here. Trust me, he is doing good. I mean, if you look at the stats and statistics, I can show you and put all my sources up. I'm a source guy, source. We're all source men here. You put source. What's that?
He's doing very little good and four times as much back.
Oh, not at all, not at all. Well, we'll send you all look, you're from Poland. I mean, I don't know. I expected you to know more Everybody says how much smarter everybody is outside of America. We'll send you more information, and trust me, things are doing good. It's one step at a time. Look, Alexander the Great didn't conquer the world in one day. Okay, we have to take a few steps back, a few steps forward.
You ever do a coke line off a stripper's ass?
I'm sorry, Tyler from Poland, but you are just out of control here.
No, it's pretty fun. Like, it opens up.
Well, thank you for the call, and when you'll understand how to behave better, you'll be able to get through our technical engineer interview system next time. Thank you very much. Thank you for the call. All right. Now then. Well, he had good questions at the beginning, but then it kind of steered off track. Bottom line is, so let's get to the real news here. Because we know most of this stuff. But here's the fact of the matter. Oh, here we go. Looks like we have correspondent Mac here calling. Let's see how this works. Did our technical engineers, Joe and Jerry, did you figure it out? Let's see. Connect them. Connect them to the line, yeah. Let's see. All right. Is there any sound? Correspondent Mac is here to speak with us. There seems to be no sound, or what's the deal here? Well, unfortunately, like our technical engineers are telling us, there's some technical difficulties on the show, and there is no sound on Correspondent Mac's live audio. So, what can I say? What do I got to do? Fire these guys or something? I'm just kidding, Joe. Come on, bring it. Figure it out. Alright, well, nothing's working here. Well, we're very sorry, ladies and gentlemen, for the technical difficulties, but it doesn't seem like the sound is working here. I don't know what to I don't know what to say. Bottom line is that we got a lot of things to talk about, okay? And we're telling you that we're going to move over to Gab. And we told you. So, let me just go through it all, okay? Cuz I'm getting anxious to tell all you guys. And one of the things that I didn't, actually, before we continue, one of the things that I didn't address to Arturo when he gave us a call earlier today is that when he was asking about the false flags and the shootings and all this, what most people, and especially the MLM and all these guys, fail to address is that every single one of these, and I'll find links and sources and post them. I don't have to find them. They're all here. Thank you for Joe and Jerry over there. And that is every single one of these guys is very noticeable. Either, first of all, when you do the blood draws, you know that every single one of them is on pharmaceutical drugs, psychotropics, the legal methamphetamine type of stuff. They prescribe all these legal drugs to these people, and I think what they do is either mix it together or separate. I don't know, but they got the pharmaceutical drugs, and every single one of these guys is under some kind of horrible pharmaceutical psychiatric drugs, that neotropics and all kinds of things that just don't make any sense. And these people have no recourse. And obviously the CDC claims that if we give you any pharmaceutical drug, if we give you any drugs and it fails and we have no recourse, it's not our problem. It's just like if you invest in the stock market and you lose your money, there's no refunds. There's no too bad. That's it. Too bad you lost. There's no, ooh, I'm sorry you lost. I'm sorry it didn't work out. Here's a little get back, give back, whatever. No, that's not how it works. So that's how these corporations work. And that's how these false flags work, is that most of them are under some kind of, again, the Operation Mockingbird, Operation Mind Control, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you know, everybody knows about this by now, but wow. I mean, here it is. Here's the stick and the spoon here, is that it's going on. And that every single one of these people, how many times are people going to listen to the lone wolf story? Who's this guy? I don't even, you know, I barely even, Arturo from Cuba was right. I barely put any research into these recent shootings anymore. And I'll tell you why. Because every single time it's the same damn story. Lone wolf, autistic child, no friends, weird alibi, but all this happens. You know what I mean? So let's continue with the news. We know what's going on. And here, so the other main thing is, like I was saying, is the attack of the mainstream, the corporations and stuff. Everybody's getting banned. I heard that this guy, some guy named Jordan got banned. Some other guy named Mike got banned. I mean, all these people with channels and speaking the truth and talking about false flags. So I'm not surprised if we'll be banned too. But look, the bottom line is we do the best we can. Now, in case this does get banned, we'll just look for Geezy Truth News on Gab or on DTube. And pretty much all those like alternatives, you know, we'll be my team of networkers here are bound to work on all that, and they're working on it as we speak. And as a matter of fact, we have a special jubilee coming up of a special surprise that's coming up, and so they're working on all that as well. So stay tuned to that. So we will. In that note, we'll stay tuned, please, and we'll be right back after these few short messages.
Hey, this is Sammy. This is the bistro at Sammy Street. We got all the delicious food that even your mom couldn't make. So please, give us a call at 253-486-7589. Sensitive Sammy's Online Bistro. Give us a call.
Hey, this is Dante's Party Supply. Give us a call. We got all the party supplies you got. What do you need? Silly string, party streamers, funny hats. We got it all. Give us a call. 425-375-4819. Thanks. Dante's Party Supply. 425-375-6115. 425-375-6115. All warnings do not do and it may cause a death and paranoid analysis and may not have any all rights reserved. Thank you.
Hey, this is Eagle's Perfume Shop. If you need it, we got it. What you need? Chanel, Gucci, Marco Polo. We got it. We got all the smells you need. So just give us a call at the 425-760-4229. We got it all. Just give us a call at the Eagles Perfume Shop.
All chemicals not registered by the FDA.
Hey, all right. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for our proud sponsors, and our thank you the Geezy Truth News production team, our technical difficulty engineers, our producers, executive managers, our fans, of course, and everybody else. Thank you so much. That everybody works very hard for this show, and except YouTube and all these other scumbags that we're gonna have to we're gonna take care of them real quick. So don't worry about that. But anyway, so thank you very much for tuning in back on GTN. We're closing in on the last half of the show here, so we're gonna go ahead and conclude. So what's going on? So I already pretty much said all what I had to say today. I mean, look, we all gotta do. The good guys are winning, and just know the truth is already known. Half the battle, we already got it. So let's just gonna go on through the news. Look, I don't even go on. We'll deal with that later. First of all, let's go alternative news. This is where the real scoop is at. There's all kinds of things going on 24/7, people. So please call in. You got more information, you got to go ahead and say it. So apparently all these guys are scumbags. Look, some guy named Ben Swan exposes FDA DEA deception on kratom. Now, I've heard of kratom before. I don't think I've ever tried it or done it. Apparently, I thought it was supposed to be like a nootropic, but I'm not interested in those kinds of things. Everything, it's all about meditation and yoga. If you have any things, now obviously if you got cancer or something, maybe go into the medicinal route, like who was saying, the Tyler from Poland guy. But when it comes to kratom, look, apparently this is all fake. So we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna put all these sources up, because look, just like I was answering Arturo's question, wondering why think everything is so fake all the time. Because if you're lied to so many times, why would you believe it? If you get lied and lied over and over again, why would you believe the sixth or seventh, you know what I mean? Why would you listen to all that after all that? So we're adding all the sources here. So there you go. DEA gets busted, of course. FDA gets busted, of course. It's all fake. I mean, look, it's all just nudge, nudge, wink, wink here. You know what I mean? So here's the... Oh, we could talk about economy if we want. I mean, economy's doing... Yeah, we all know how the economy's doing. I mean, it's doing terrible. But for what it is what it is. It's not like devastating, but it's not good. It's bad. And it's inflation and all that. We've talked about this plenty through all our previous shows. Here's Investment Watch blog. Why experts believe a fourth Fed rate hike is almost guaranteed. I mean, this is all just... I mean, this is... Of course. But the thing is... And one of my biggest complaints about Donnie Boy is the fact that he thinks the economy is good. But it's not. Just because it's at 25K, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, it don't mean nothing. It don't mean jack squat. Because if people are unemployed, if there's no jobs, if there's people getting screwed head over ham or whatever the saying is, then that's what's going on. So it's all, I think, I don't know if it's been said before, but I'm surprised I haven't heard this term before, the industrial stock market complex, or something along the lines of that, as the industrial economy complex, or industrial, you know what I mean? Because every single one of these is a faucet that gets funneled in to all the cabal or NWO, whatever you want to call them, and that's that's how it is. So it goes from the military industrial complex, the medical industrial complex. So it would be the stock market industrial complex, I guess, or the economy industrial complex. But it gets more complex than that, of course. But here again, with the economy is that's where it's at right now, you know. But see, where it's all at is that the diversification is key, like any smart financer would tell you. But you also have to understand what's going on. Because of this fluff that's in the stock market, you want to look at alternatives. We've talked about blockchain technology. We've talked about Bitcoin and cryptos and stuff. This is leading the way towards the third and final step, I think, for humanity. It looks like it is, which is the ending of the slavery through finance. I mean, first it was finance that got banned, or first it was slavery, because then it got banned. It was like, that was it. And then, there's monarchy, and then there's finance, and now there's slavery, and now there's finance. And so these three things, the first two we overcame, monarchy and slavery, and now the third and final task is these are like the three major things, and then the third one is the finance thing, and the finance one is pretty similar to the slavery one, except for the obvious is from physical and mental. There's physical and mental, and so that's what it is. And people are waking up. People are realizing. I mean, every day I hear news stories. And look at the cryptos, they're jumping. It's crazy. Anybody who thinks it's fake, yeah, it could be fake. But what do you have? It's like give me liberty or give me death. It's exactly that phrase goes with all these lessons that we've learned and all the lessons up ahead of us. So anyway, new article, shocking vaccine safety warning. And we actually talked about it on this show, is that we know what the CDC says when it comes to vaccines. We know what the CDC says when it comes to pharmaceutical drugs. It says that if you got problems, it ain't our problem. We're all about the money. And they make a killing. Let me tell you that. We could look at all the statistics on that too on a different show, because that's a good thing to look into. So let's talk about some good news, all right? So the good news is, like we were saying, that we're winning, everything's good. But here's some pretty cool, interesting information here. University of Canterbury students create world's first 3D printed titanium engine. Now this is amazing. Now here is the forefront of technology. Like me and like everybody else, we all love technology here. And this is looking real good. Now, these 3D printers, they were a child's toy when they were concocting products made out of plastic. But now, this is the world's first 3D printed titanium engine. Wow. I mean, here it is. That's it. The rest is history, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, if we got printers who print anything. I mean, this is the beginning of the end, or the end of the beginning. This is what's going on. It's like Star Trek Enterprise. I was never even into Star Trek, but I have friends who are, and they told me that there's a machine in this Star Trek that you would click a button or whatever, and it would just pop out what you needed, whether it was an apple or a gun or something useful or something, whatever it was. You would just do it, and it would just pop up. Well, it was atomizing. I mean, I don't know, in case of because we know that Gene Roddenberry, speaking of which, was a 33rd degree Mason. So we all know all the information that came from the Star Trek world is becoming real. So here is the atomizer that's that's building these, through molecules, these objects. And this is just the first stepping stone, ladies and gentlemen. This is huge. Yeah, if our technical engineers haven't put this up on yet, then this is for sure a little wimp womp that we want to check out. So here we go. Looks like we have correspondent Matt calling in again. Let's see if this works this time or what's going on here. Let's give it a go. Here we go. Let's see. What's going on? I keep hearing all these things. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've had a great show. I think it's, well, we'll just have to get everything situated by next week's show. There's a lot of, look, the good guys are winning. So, keep it up. Make your own show. Everybody go to alternative media. Get rid of this YouTube stuff. We got to get out, okay? This is what, episode 26? Or episode 27 or something? We got to go. We're moving from this place, okay? So, YouTube, Google, Apple, Microsoft, and the list goes on. You guys all know these corporations are evil. These corporations want to destroy America because United States of America is the only entity that is stopping them from world domination practically, because they have their own private armies, they have their own people, they have their own intel, they have their own stuff, and they've infiltrated through lobbyists of our own government, which is why it's such a big deal. However, like I say, and like the news is telling us, I'm not saying this information that's going about everywhere is the fact of the matter is the fact that they're coming so hard down on this is great. It's like shooting themselves in their own foot, so to speak, or their last gasp of air. So, thank you very much. I believe, I mean, we have more news to cover, but hey, when does that ever stop? Am I right? So, to this, we'll end the show. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. And stay tuned for next week's show. Geezy Truth News is out.